The phone kept vibrating like an insect trapped under glass. Emails piled up like wet newspapers, heavy, endless. In the boardroom, the air was cold, the faces were warm, and every set of eyes drifted to Julian the moment something broke. A missed number, a delayed shipment, a client who suddenly needed reassurance like a child in the dark. Julian felt it happen in real time. He wasn't a man anymore. He was a function, a tool the company leaned on so it never had to stand up straight. Someone slid another problem across the table without asking. No, can you? No, thanks. Just expectation, dressed up as urgency. Julian didn't snap. He didn't argue. He didn't demand appreciation. He just watched the pattern with a quiet disgust that had been building for years. The more you are seen and heard, the more common you become. If you are always available, you become cheap. If you always reply instantly, you become predictable. And in the economy of power, scarcity is the only currency that holds value. Julian had built his reputation the way most men do. No shortcuts, no drama. He arrived early. He stayed late. He fixed problems before they became crises. He answered messages the moment they landed, like a man afraid that silence meant danger. At first, it looked like strength. Then it became a trap. His boss learned Julian could be leaned on. His co-workers learned that if they waited long enough, Julian would carry it. At home, the same habit followed him through the front door. He listened. He adjusted. He gave. He smoothed tension before it hardened into consequence. He thought it was loyalty. He thought it was love. But the world doesn't reward loyalty with respect. It rewards it with extraction. The thank yous disappeared. The warmth cooled. The requests multiplied. And the worst part was the invisibility. Julian became background noise precisely because he never stopped being present. He was drowning in his own accessibility. One night, he sat alone in the kitchen. The house was quiet except for the refrigerator's low hum. His phone lit up again. Another quick thing. Another small emergency that would become his burden if he touched it. His thumb hovered over the screen, and something in him settled. Not rage. Clarity. He saw the truth with brutal simplicity. He had trained everyone around him to treat his time like public property. Unlimited access, unlimited labor, unlimited emotional availability. And now, they behaved exactly as he had taught them. That night, Julian chose a colder path. He didn't threaten anyone. He didn't announce a transformation. He simply vanished in plain sight. The next day, he went to work. He did what was required. Nothing more. He spoke when the work demanded it, and nowhere else. He stopped volunteering solutions before problems became formal requests. He stopped filling every silence with reassurance. His phone stayed face down. Notifications died first. Then the instant replies. Then the habit of rescuing other people from consequences they deserve to feel. The first days felt like withdrawal. His body kept reaching for the old drug, that tiny rush of importance when someone needed him. He imagined what they would think. He imagined the stories they would tell. He imagined being replaced. But he didn't move. By day 3, the office started to itch. Tasks stalled because nobody knew who owned them. Meetings ran long because the usual shortcut was missing. Julian's brain doing the work for everyone. Calls came in waves. Emails marked urgent. People walking past his desk just a little slower, scanning his face to see if he was still the same man they could reach with a snap of the fingers. Julian remained calm. Not hostile, not dramatic, just unavailable. And that is what unsettles people. They can handle anger. Anger is a door. It can be negotiated, soothed, redirected. Silence is a wall. By the end of the first week, annoyance turned into unease. Not concern for Julian, but fear for themselves. Without his constant corrections, mistakes leaked into daylight. Minor issues became visible problems. Visible problems attracted blame. Blame attracted predators. Julian watched it all from a distance, as if he had stepped out of the blast radius. He learned something most men refuse to learn. People don't always want you around because they value you. They want you around because your presence lowers the cost of their life. When you disappear, you raise the price. At home, the shift was even sharper. Julian didn't become cruel. He didn't punish. He simply stopped performing. He stopped over-explaining. He stopped being the emotional customer service line. He handled what mattered, then withdrew into something that belonged only to him. A private routine, a secret project, a place inside his day where nobody could reach him, not to hide from life, but to remember who he was when nobody was consuming him. The silence in the house felt strange at first, like a room after the music cuts off. People don't know what to do when the familiar noise disappears. They start to hear their own thoughts, and that can feel like suffocation. 2 weeks in, the world around Julian recalibrated, not with gratitude, with caution. People began asking instead of assuming. They began preparing before approaching him. They began solving what they could, because the old safety net wasn't guaranteed. His boss started noticing the invisible weight Julian had carried for years. Not because anyone suddenly became noble, but because the machine began to grind without the grease Julian had been donating from his own life. Julian's value became visible the moment he stopped giving it away. By week 3, something else formed around him. Mystery. When you are always accessible, people don't imagine you. When you are scarce, they do. They began to wonder what Julian was doing when he wasn't answering. They began to assume he had options. They began to sense that his attention had a gate now, and the gate did not open on demand. His words carried weight because they were rare. His presence felt sharper because it didn't linger until it became furniture. And that is the ancient law most men ignore until it humiliates them. To be valued, you must be missed. To be respected, you must sometimes cease to exist. So look at your life with a colder eye. Who has too much access to you? Who feels entitled to your instant replies, your constant availability, your endless understanding? Then fade, slowly, methodically, without drama. Delay what doesn't matter. Stop rescuing people from the consequences that would mature them. Build a private routine no one can interrupt. Let your absence do what your explanations never could. Because when they finally feel the weight of the empty chair, they understand the truth they refused to see when you were sitting in it.